On fucking vacation!
How's it going, YouTube land and also social media lands? Welcome to an all-new video. In this video, we're doing a movie review of a new film that just came out a couple weeks ago, and is a sequel to a 2021 film, so we're going to get right into that. Before we do that, make sure you hit that subscribe button so you don't miss this video and any other videos I put up. As always, people, if you enjoy my content here on YouTube, definitely check out my awesome other social media platforms, such as X, Facebook, Instagram, Threads, Patreon. Pretty much post on these regularly, so definitely check those out. And also, I am now an affiliate with the great SWA Sabers, where you can get realistic, real lightsabers from Star Wars in your home as replicas that you can actually use to fight or even just have on display. So definitely check out that link down below so you don't miss out on those awesome sabers. And also, they have a sale going on right now, so definitely check that out. As always, let's get right into this. So welcome one and all to an all-new video. So like I was saying before, we're doing a movie review of a new film that just came out a couple weeks ago, and is a sequel to a 2021 action-packed film called Nobody 2! Yeah! Nobody 2! Yeah! So Nobody 2 is a sequel to Nobody from 2021, and is an action-packed ride of a film with a huge, amazing cast that all do such a great, amazing job, that are all fun, enjoyable, and just really kick butt. And this film is just one of those films that, you know, you're hoping for the best, but you're not sure. Because definitely when the original, director isn't returning, and then also, having, some different maybe thought processes coming through, especially with the film that came out just a couple years ago, sometimes it gets mixed up and gets put into a translation you don't quite understand, or it's not as quite good as the original. But surprisingly, Nobody 2 is actually really damn good. I was really surprised at how good it was and how it kept the great feeling of the first film going. I loved the whole process of the film, and the action, the comedy, and everything about it was just so damn fun. And this great cast that's in the film just really delivers their characters and gives us this really fun, rich film that just really rocks it out of the park. Now, if you didn't see, Nobody 1, you could definitely see Nobody 2 without seeing that first one, but definitely you get a better context if you saw the first one before you saw this one. But I think that the action in this film, once again, is really derived from some of the greatest stunt coordinators, stunt directors, and stunt people in the industry, and they brought, once again, such great dynamic action into this film that just really was awesome. And our main star really kicks butt once again, showing off his really great skills, and where he could be not just a comedian but also be a really great action star. And that's what Nobody 2 brought too, is that it was a solid sequel that, like I said, I thought was excelled past the first film and gave us exactly that great same feel as the first film. Now, if you haven't seen any of these films, definitely check them out. They're definitely worth a watch. Definitely one of those action type of films that you want in your action films, that you maybe marathon or do like a video watch of a whole bunch of action films. These are definitely films you should put in there. But this, of course, is directed none other by a gentleman that goes by the name of Mr. Timo Tadjinato. Oh yeah, Timo Tadjinato. Woo! Timo, yeah, Timo, yeah. So Timo, who is the first time directing one of the Nobody films, is his first time out with this franchise, and I think did a really decent job. I enjoyed what he brought to the film. I thought he had a really great eye for action. I thought he had a really great eye for keeping the same aesthetic and feel as the first film, and also I think that he had a really great eye for just giving us a really solid story that really rang true, really excelled at bringing the story to life. And I think he just got a really great performance out of all of his actors and actresses throughout the film. And I also enjoyed just how much he really had a great idea for what an action film is, and that he didn't try to put some stupid hootenanny crap that's something, where they new agey crap that they put in a lot of action films these days, where it's just like, that just is stupid. He kept it classic, awesome action type of film, just like the first film, and I really appreciated it. I love that he kept the same aesthetic as the first film, and I love where he took the action, because all the action sequences in this were so awesome and so well constructed, and he just really blew those out of the water and gave us some even more action-packed sequences than the first film. Now, Timo has not done anything else I've seen. He's done quite a few foreign films. He's done a few films over here, but none that I've heard of. So I really don't have anything else I can reference from what he has directed before. But from what I've seen in the trailers and some of the things I've read about, he, brings the same great action style he did to his other films as he does into Nobody 2. And I think that, once now that I've seen Nobody 2, I definitely go check out some of those films that he's done in the past to see just what else he has done, because I think he's a phenomenal action director, and I think he just did such a great job with this film and gave us this really solid sequel that I think will, go down as a decent and fun sequel that a lot of people enjoyed, maybe even more than the first film. And I think Timo did such a great job of just giving this a really solid film that just overall, it just was a great addition to this franchise. If you haven't seen anything Timo has directed, definitely go check out Nobody 2 in theaters now. He did a phenomenal job. So, Nobody 2 has a really phenomenal cast, really enjoyable, really well done, structure of actors and actresses that are involved with this film that all brought great characterizations to life. We have several people returning from the first film with some newcomers coming into this film, and I just really enjoyed all of them. I thought all of them did a great job, were all enjoyable, and I think a lot of them just really even upped it for their game in this film and even made it even better, which was so much fun. And I think that a lot of them were just really, constructed and really excelled at, growing their characters from the first time we saw them, 4 years ago, into this film. And I really enjoyed just the growth and everything that they did with their characters, of those that were returning. And then, of course, the new people that came into did a really fantastic job and played their characters really well, too. So to start us off with this great cast is Nobody himself, Mr. Bob Odenkirk. Oh yeah, Bob Odenkirk. Woo, Bob Odenkirk. Yeah, Bob Odenkirk. So Bob Odenkirk, you might recognize, of course, from SNL. You might recognize him from Better Call Saul. You might recognize him from a slew of things over the years. And he's just a really great actor, great comedian, great at dramatic acting, and also, I think, a really great action star. And when I saw him in Nobody 1, I was really shocked at how awesome he was and how action-packed he played the character. And I think he did such a great job and just gave us this really fantastic, character that was just super enjoyable and really played the character to the T. Now, Bob does such a great job of bringing his character once again to life in this film, but at the same time, I love the growth of his character in this film. I like how he's different from his character in the first film, but at the same time, we can see that he's even more action-packed, even more awesome, and just really, overall, really fun as his character in the second film. And I love that, he did some different stunts than he did in the first film. I love that he got some action sequences in crazy places. But at the same time, Bob just really showed that he was just action-packed awesome again, and really shined at how strong and how awesome he is at his fighting choreography. And I absolutely love some of his one-liners throughout this film. He was so freaking hilarious and on point too as well. And I loved a lot of the interactions he had with the different characters, stuff like that it just all meshed so well together. And I especially love it when he's beating up the guy. He's like, "I'm on vacation," was absolutely freaking awesome. And I think that he did such a great job with that and just gave us this really powerful performance once again, and playing his character so awesomely. Now, if you haven't seen Bob Odenkirk anything, definitely a great film to check him out in. It's a small role, but it's still so memorable and fun. It's a great film that came out in the early 90s called Wayne's World 2. Yeah! Wayne's World 2. Yeah! So he has a little minor part in this where he basically comes upon Wayne and Garth at the Aerosmith concert in the backstage, along with, another fellow SNL writer. And it's just absolutely freaking hilarious. He's like, we took blah 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 and we went door to door to get here. How long did it take you guys to get here and stuff like that? It was absolutely freaking hilarious. His voice, everything about it, his look was on point, hilarious, and I just absolutely love that performance by him. He was just so freaking funny, but at the same time so amazing. And I think even though it's such a small little part and cameo, it still is a super powerful portion of that film, I feel. And even though, you have so many other cameos and stuff like that throughout the film, Bob Odenkirk's performance, I feel, outshines a lot of the other ones. And you're like, when you think about Wayne's World 2, you're like, Bob Odenkirk, and then of course, his fellow salesman that he was with at the time too, in the portion of the film, and it's just so damn fun, and I absolutely just love that performance. If you haven't seen Bob Odenkirk or anything, definitely check him out on Wayne's World 2. His little cameo was absolutely fantastic. But overall, he was amazing in Nobody 2. He was so good, so damn fun, and just all around playing his great character once again and kicking butt. If you haven't seen Bob Odenkirk anything recently, go check him out in Nobody 2. He was phenomenal. So that brings me to the next person I'd like to talk about that was in this film. And that, of course, is Nobody's wife in the film, Miss Lena Headey! Oh yeah, Lena Headey! Woo, Lena Headey! Yeah! So Lena Headey, you might recognize from Game of Thrones. You might recognize her from a slew of films over the years. She usually plays a motherly type characters these days, but also she's played the sexy mom or the sexy neighbor and stuff like that, and all kinds of different things. And she is just a fantastic actress. I've always enjoyed her in pretty much any film I've ever seen her, and I think she always does a really good job. I haven't really not liked anything by her. I think that everything she does is really well done. Is it the greatest performances? Of course not, but overall I still think that she's a decent actress and that she does a decent job, and that's what she brought to her character in Nobody too. I enjoyed the kind of evolution of her character too, from how she was in the first film to this one, where she was more concerned and more about Nobody being more about the family and not doing so many jobs and stuff like that, and being at home and more present and stuff like that, kind of how the first film kind of was. But she took it to a whole new level, and I liked that. I liked how she was more interactive in this film. And I also enjoyed how she kicked some butt throughout this film, where she kicked, some ass, which I thought was really awesome. And I really enjoyed that. I love what she brought to it and how she really delivered and gave us this really great performances that I think were really a great addition to the sequel, but also a great addition to her character, and given her character even more evolution and more growth from her character in the first film. And I just love the chemistry between her and Bob Odenkirk and all the other characters in the films, and I think that she works really well with everyone and just plays the really fun character that I just found very entertaining and very enjoyable in this film. Now, if you haven't seen Lena Headey in anything, definitely a film to check her out in. I think one of my all-time favorite performances is, of course, the great 2007 film called 300. Yeah! 300. Yeah! Yeah! 300. Yeah! So 300 is such a great film, directed by Zack Snyder, starring Gerard Butler, of course. And she plays, of course, the queen of the Spartans, and she is just absolutely fantastic in it. Her performance was really on par, really fantastically done. I really liked her essence in the film, and I enjoyed the kind of camaraderie she brought to her character in the films, and really shined that, she was just the queen, but at the same time, she was a wife, she was a mother, she was everything all in one, and she portrayed each of those characteristics and that type of person throughout the whole entire film, shining and really expressing how great of a character she was, and that she was just more than being, Gerard Butler's wife, but she was also her own character, and she was awesome and fun, and that she really helped bring together what she needed to be able to help and assist her husband throughout that whole ordeal throughout the film. And I just really liked what Lena did with that, and how she provided and gave us this really great performance that I think goes unrecognized. I don't think she gets enough credit for how good she was in that film. And I really enjoyed her in it. I thought she just was really awesome. If you haven't seen Lena Headey anything, definitely check her out in 300. She did a fantastic job. But overall, in Nobody 2, she was really great. She was really fun, and I thought she just did a really great job of, growing her character and just being a great addition to that film. If you haven't seen her in anything recently, check her out in Nobody 2. She was absolutely fantastic. So that brings me to the final person I'd like to talk about that was in this film, and that is none other than the main villain in the film and newcomer to the franchise, Miss Sharon Stone. Oh yeah, Sharon Stone. Woo, Sharon Stone, yeah! So Sharon Stone, of course, you might recognize from Basic Instinct, Basic Instinct 2. You might recognize her from The Quick of the Dead. You might recognize her from Sliver, Intersection. You might recognize her from Casino. You might recognize her from Gloria. I mean, she's been in a whole bunch of films over the years. Is a pretty decent actress. I've always enjoyed her in roles. I think she plays the characters very well. She's very interesting. At the same time, of course, she's gorgeous. I think for, a woman that is now in her mid to late 60s now, she looks absolutely fantastic still. She looks amazing. She still looks super hot. And I think that, she has some decent acting abilities besides her looks. And I think that she brought that to her villain in this character. And I enjoyed her character. I thought she was a decent villain. I thought she did a great job of playing kind of like a crazy, psychotic person. And I thought she did it really well. I was actually really surprised at her villain role. I thought it was a lot better villain role than I've seen her do in the past. And I think that, with, kind of how slow her kind of roles have come in the last, 10 to 15 years, I feel, seeing her play kind of a more prominent role was really fun to see her again in. And I think it really shined and showed, how good she was, in Basic Instinct. And how her, performances in the 90s, how great they were. She really shined again in Nobody 2, and I was really impressed with that and really enjoyed it. And I think even though her, villain didn't have a super huge role, it still was very impactful and very powerful in the film, and I think she did a really fantastic job. I mean, the craziness that she provided to the character was on point, and I really appreciated and thought that it was a really well-constructed villain that I think, was really, done well. And I was really impressed with what she brought to that character and how well she played that villain. Now, if you haven't seen Sharon Stone, it's definitely a great film to check her out, and I think one of my favorites of hers is a great film that came out in the 90s that had Sylvester Stallone in it called The Specialist. Yeah! The Specialist. Yeah! She was absolutely fantastic in the film. I think it's even better than her Basic Instinct role, better than Sliver, better than a lot of those other 90 films she's done, and I think that she was really fantastic in it. I really enjoyed the character, and I thought that it blended well with Sylvester Stallone's character in the film, and I think Sharon really shined in that role and showed that she does have some great acting chops that would lead to, roles that she really shined in too. And, at that time, I think this was around the time she also did that film Dabalik, which was a really great mystery thriller film, really shined her talent, and I feel that The Specialist led the way to that, and really shine and show that she does have some great acting chops that would lead her, to get some Academy Award nominations and stuff like that for performances in other films that same year. And I think that The Specialist just also was a really great action-packed film that she did some really great action in it too, besides, being kind of the sexy love interest in the film, and I thought that she did such a great job with the character. If you haven't seen Sharon Stone anything, definitely check it out. The Specialist, she did a phenomenal job. But overall, she was really fantastic in Nobody 2, and I really enjoyed her in it, and I thought she did a really great job portraying the villain in this film. If you haven't seen Sharon Stone recently, go check her out in Nobody 2. She did a really fantastic job. Just want to shout out a couple honorable mentions of other two actors that were in the film that were really fantastic. One of them, of course, was the great Colin Hanks, who I thought did a really fantastic job as kind of the, mid-level bad guy in the film who, really kind of rocked it, and I thought did a really good job of portraying the character and everything like that. I thought he was a really great villain, and that he, really kind of, outlived a lot of the characters he played in the past, and I think that he really shined and really showed that he's got some decent acting chops, and he gets some of that from his dad, and I think that he played the character very well. But also I have to shout out the great, amazing Mr. Christopher Lloyd, of course, who plays Nobody's dad. He is absolutely fantastic in these films. I think Christopher Lloyd is so freaking hilarious. He has some of the great one-liners throughout the film. His outfits and everything are on point. and he just looks absolutely awesome. He looks amazing for being almost 90 years old. I mean, he is just rocking it, and he looks so cool. And he just really plays the character to the T and is just so awesome. Absolutely love him in this film, and I just got to shout him out too, because he just was so cool. But anyways, so what is the plot of Nobody 2? Basically, the premise of the story is, from the events of the first film, Nobody himself is trying to pay off the debt of all the money he burned in the first film. And so that's why he has to keep doing all these other jobs to be able to pay that debt off so he can be out of debt. And while this is going on, he's realizing that he needs a break and that he needs to take some time with his family, decides to take them on a vacation. And so when they go to their vacation spot, they end up coming across the town being in trouble, and once again he goes to work and is trying to save the town from this evil drug lord that's played by Sharon Stone. And basically it's about him trying to figure things out, save his family, save the town, and then try to still get himself out of the mess that he's in from the first film. Really well done film, really enjoyable, really rocks, really is great. Absolutely enjoy it. I think it's a fantastic film. Lots of great action. Once again, Derek Kolstad once again brings his great knowledge of the action scene into this film with his screenwriting, with his stunt coordinating, and all that kind of stuff, which is really shines and shows in the film. And just overall, it's such a great freaking film. Giant 10 golden movie boxes up. Definitely be adding this to the collection. It was so damn good. Really well directed. Great, soundtrack. Great cinematography. Great set locations. Everything about this film was just so fun. If you have not seen it yet, go see Mr. Nobody or Nobody 2 in theaters. It's absolutely fantastic. So that's it for this movie review, guys. As always, thank you for watching. Thank you for liking. Also, thank you for subscribing. And if this is your first time here, or you have been before, don't forget to check out any other new videos if you haven't seen mine yet. As always, huge shout out to my subscribers, new and old. Thank you so much for being a part of the channel. But of course, as always, if you want to help the channel shine even more, want to help it out, please check out my Patreon page where you get to see all kinds of extra accoutrement you don't get here on my YouTube channel. So definitely check that out. Become a member, help the channel out. As always, just recently became an affiliate of SWA Sabers. Check out that link down below in my description as well. Definitely badass lightsabers. Check them out. As always, catch you next one.